Not sure.
Hello and thanks for joining us at this hour on ANC International. I am Elizabeth Mori. Now let's take the headlines. Supreme Court dismisses perjury case against President Muhammadu Buhari. Federal government sets for smooth takeoff of its agro-processing enhancement projects. Coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria asks UK and international community to intervene in the ruling against Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. Now let's begin with the judiciary. The Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal filed by some individuals claiming President Muhammadu Buhari lied on oath about his academic certificates. This followed the withdrawal of the case by the appellant since it was filed outside the expected 14 days. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewu reports.
The lower courts from where the matter emanated had similarly ruled that, being a pre-election matter, Kalu Agu and others who alleged that Muhammadu Buhari as a candidate of APC in the run-up to the primaries in 2018 lied under oath about his academic certificates should have filed their case within the 14 days stipulated by law. At the Supreme Court, the panel, led by Justice Mary Odili, also did some computation of time, and when it became obvious that the matter was originally filed out of time in October 2018, counsel to the appellant decided to withdraw, to which the Apex Court itself in turn dismissed the case.
That's really the interesting aspect of this case because our contention was that you take the time from the time of publication, because that's when the Form CF001 comes to the notice of the public. However, in the CF001 of Mr. President, the stamp of receipt showed 18th. If you take it from 18th October to the time we filed 15 November, is outside the 14 days.
Counsel to Muhammadu Buhari, Abdullahi Abubakar, did not speak to the media. He had been scolded by the panel of justices on the inappropriateness of him, a government lawyer in the Federal Ministry of Justice, appearing in a matter in which Muhammadu Buhari was sued as a private citizen and not as president. The Supreme Court warned against such practices as it could amount to a violation of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
A coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria has asked the United Kingdom and the international community to intervene in the $9.6 billion ruling against Nigeria as partners in progress. They made this demand during a protest at the British High Commission and the Embassy of Ireland in Abuja. Oninge Fineface reports.
August 16, 2019, the British Commercial Court in a judgment awarded $9.6 billion to Process and Industry Development (P&ID) against the government of Nigeria for alleged breach of gas supply processing agreement with the NNPC. Several reactions have trailed this judgment against Nigeria. This protest by a coalition of civil society organizations is the latest of those reactions. The protest is informed by the understanding that $9.6 billion translates to 3.5 trillion naira, which constitutes 20% of Nigeria's foreign reserves.
We have come to tell the ambassador and the British government that this judgment must be investigated. Yes. We cannot take it.
Allowing P&ID to seize $9.6 billion in Nigeria's assets, the coalition believes will greatly impact the economy of the nation and negatively affect all citizens of the country. They are at the Embassy of Ireland making similar demands.
We demand as follows. 1. The judgment by the commercial court in the UK is set aside, as it is evident that the judgment is ill-motivated and undermines the sovereignty of Nigeria as a nation. Nigerian government and the PID should go back to the position of the arbitration.
Members of the coalition insist that until their demands are met, they will continue to protest against this judgment. In Abuja, Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
Let's now talk agribusiness. Federal government says it has put in place all necessary measures for the smooth takeoff of its agro-processing enhancement projects being supported by the World Bank. The World Bank support project is to provide financial and technical assistance to farmers, as well as enhance their capacity in processing and marketing of produce. Musa Baba Aliu has more.
60,000 youth and 360,000 farmers are to participate in the World Bank support project, designed to upscale agricultural productivity, processing and export. The World Bank is providing $200 million for the project, while the federal government and 6 participating states will pay counterpart funds. The states are Kogi, Cross River, Lagos, Kaduna, Kano and Enugu. Consequently, registration and screening of youth who will benefit from the project has been flagged off in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital.
Kogi state is the first among the 6 states to have concluded that, and we are starting the interview from Kogi. By the end of that, we will be able to recommend to the National Coordinating Office and subsequently to the World Bank the number that can go for training.
The money meant for this project is not allocated to each state. It's in a pool, and the higher you perform, the more money you get. We cannot draw lesser amount from that pool of funds. So we have to make sure that we are at our best and make sure that we execute this project accordingly.
Nana Aisha Nasuru, a graduate of University of Abuja, is among the youth that are willing to key into the agricultural program. Her dream, she says, is to be one of the agro merchants in near future.
No, concerning the appeals project, I was not asked to pay a dime.
Nana Aisha and other 1,000 youth screened will be sent for training on rice, cassava, cashew, cocoa and livestock production. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliu, NTA News.
For more business-related reports, let's now join Olayinka Ojo.
Welcome to Business News. Oil prices weakened on Monday after new tariffs imposed by the United States and China came into force, raising concerns about a further hit to global growth and demand for crude. Brent crude slipped 22 cents to $59.03 a barrel, while U.S. oil was down $55.083 a barrel. The United States began imposing 15% tariff on a variety of Chinese goods on Sunday, including footwear, smartwatches, and flat panel televisions, as China put a new duty on U.S. crude. The 3-month deadline set by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, for bank customers to deposit dirty Naira notes in their banks will elapse at the close of business on 2nd September 2019. The CBN says that a large proportion of the 7.9 trillion Naira pieces of Naira notes in circulation are dirty, mutilated and unfit for automated teller machines. This is part of its effort to improve the overall quality of the Naira notes in circulation. Let's now take a look at how trading on the floor of the capital market fared this Monday. That stock market report concludes this segment of the news. I am Olayinka Ojo.
Thank you so much, Olayinka. Now to other matters. The federal government is intensifying efforts towards ensuring that all data collection and registration establishments work together to avoid duplication of duty. This was at a collaboratory meeting involving National Identity Management Commission and Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, midwifed by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. Adebola Brooksland-Sunday reports.
When you hear the cry of Eliana Ndukwe from a distance, you will think she is being injected by a nurse, but she is undergoing a biometric registration that will be used all through her lifetime as a form of identity wherever her data is required.
She has her identity anywhere she will stand tall. I'm a Nigerian and present it. And it's a good initiative by the government.
The initiative followed the national policy direction of National Identity Management Commission to harmonize and integrate a system which is anchored on a unique national identification number which connects all institutional databases under a single platform. The heads of National Identity Management Commission, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, Bureau of Public Service Reforms are collaborating to implement the harmonization plan.
At the end of this ecosystem, we'll make sure that at birth, a child is given the national identification number. When we are formulating policies, we formulate policy for the normal human beings. Let the abnormal people come and justify their abnormality.
Some see us as auditors, some see us as organizations that will come and say 90% of the staff should go. No. The whole essence of our visiting any organization is to see that there is improvement in the quality of service.
Another area of great importance is how to secure the data by thinking ahead of cyber criminals.
Cyber criminal operates at the speed of light. The law enforcement operates at the speed of law. They are not going at the same speed, which means the good guys with law enforcement have to be much more proactive.
With the unique national identification number now open to all ages, it is expected that the generation next, like Eliana Ndukwe, will not go through the rigorous process of multiple registration. Adebola Brooksland-Sunday, NTA News.
Now let's talk TCAD 7. Nigeria's outing at the just concluded 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TCAD 7, has been described as critical and fruitful, with President Muhammadu Buhari and state governors holding series of engagements on the sidelines to woo investors and showcase Nigeria's potential. Experts on Good Morning Nigeria say the gains may not be immediate, but the low-hanging fruits can quickly be harvested. Leader Samson tells us more.
Nigeria's delegation to the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TCAD 7, apart from stealing the show as the largest African contingent in Japan, was able to attract huge Japanese investments across critical sectors of the economy. Beyond the high-level discussions and diplomacy, Gaston Good Morning Nigeria advocates diligent follow-up to harness the various commitments made.
So therefore, Jamboree, we gain a lot from assisting the federal government and also taking home a lot of things that will also help, especially $300 million to some states.
At the end of it all, I believe that Nigeria got a good bouquet for itself, and Africa got even a larger one. It was well worth it.
While TCAD 7 in Yokohama, Japan was described as an improvement of TCAD 6 in Nairobi, Kenya, the guests see the platform as veritable in building investors' confidence on Nigeria.
The presence of Mr. President in such a meeting has enhanced the confidence of countries, Japan, the rest of the international community, the European Union in the country, to come and transact business with us.
Whether domestic or international politics, it's always about position, interest, and needs of the players and actors involved. So apparently you will have every state actor trying to pull strings to see how it can benefit from whatever conversation, whatever treaty.
There was also advocacy for Nigeria to quickly develop its potential for other countries to aspire for our capacities in mutually beneficial relationships. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Anyway, from TCAD 7 now, there have been rising concerns in the building industry relating to compromising standards in the construction of houses. To keep professionals abreast of evolving trends, technology, challenges as well as new policies, it is the whole idea behind the 30th Archibuilt Expo 2019 in Abuja. Jumai Stephen reports that the exhibition is organized by the Nigerian Institute of Architects, NIA.
This gathering is one with the largest number of building material exhibitors, architects and allied professionals with the aim of broadening the knowledge of professionals regarding new trends in the industry. The exposition of building materials and construction technologies is to help professionals leverage on the use of technological innovations to curb building collapse in Nigeria, which is in keeping with this year's theme, driving Nigerian architecture through technology.
The Nigerian Institute of Architects recognize the need to create a platform where those in the building industry can see developments in materials, equipment and technology.
And this, Chairman of the Archibuilt Development Services Limited, Mohammed Fawo Raja, says the Nigerian Institute of Architects hopes to achieve.
30 years ago. And the idea then was there was no local compendium that architects in Nigeria can refer to in choosing materials for specification.
The exposition provided an opportunity for interactive discussions and brainstorming sessions bordering on building collapse, construction and finance, as well as sustainable housing development regulations. Participants at the exposition believe that they will be better positioned to give a boost to the building industry. The Archibuilt Expo, aimed at fostering the growth of architectural engineering and design brands, holds annually since 1989, and this year's event has about 100 exhibitors, 250 companies, as well as 3,000 participants. In Abuja, Jumai Stephen, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Hey you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person when they go hit us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Ogadekuva and Mr. Sabi. And you don't fit carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Syria on the Liga Marches live. Go for Go TV Max.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's talk mining. Nigeria's quest to become an industrial giant in Africa can easily be realized if the government pays attention to the development of the iron and steel sector. This was the thrust of a lecture at the 37th inaugural lecture of the University of Abuja, which drew experts in the mining and steel industry. Austin Anyebe reports that the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company was re-echoed.
According to the 2016 report of the World Steel Association, China is the world's largest steel producer, with South Africa ranked 22nd and Egypt 27th in Africa. South Korea, which has no mineral resources for iron and steel, ranks among the top 10 countries in steel production. This is the worry of experts who are of the view that Nigeria, blessed with mineral resources such as iron ore, coal, natural gas and limestones needed for the production of steel, is still lagging.
All the infrastructure that we rely or we use on daily basis are made from steel. Steel are made from iron ore. So except we develop our iron ore, we cannot get to production of steel. If you don't produce steel, we cannot talk of developing any technology in this nation.
This is the focus of the 37th inaugural lecture, where Professor Yihi Boniface Oloche says government should consider the potentials inherent in Itakpe and Agbaja iron ore deposits in Kogi State, as well as speed up the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company.
Our own steel, we can do many things. The rails will not be appropriate. The buildings will not be appropriate.
Speakers of the view that the Ajaokuta Integrated Steel Plant was envisaged to have a multiplier effect on all sectors of the Nigerian economy, such as agriculture, transport, and construction. They wonder why government, having spent more than $20 billion on the steel company, which has achieved more than 90% completion, would hesitate to fast-track its completion. The lecture had as theme iron ore, a potential source of steel and fertilizer for sustainable development. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NT News.
Searchlight on flood management. As residents of Osogbo and other communities affected by flood count their losses, Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola has appealed to the federal government to assist the state in combating the disaster. Governor Oyetola made the appeal when he inspected some of the areas affected by the flood. Femi Afariogun reports.
It is the second time in 5 years that the state, and in particular Osogbo, experienced flooding despite measures put in place by the immediate past administration to avert reoccurrence. Governor Oyetola, who defied the rain to assess the level of damage done by the floods in the state capital, assured residents that urgent steps are being taken to avert reoccurrence, and he also asked for federal government's intervention for a lasting solution.
With the support of the federal government, I believe we'll be able to tackle the flood. They send some people to come and inspect all these areas that are prone to flood in the state. I believe within the next 1 or 2 weeks, they'll be able to do something to assist us.
However, he expressed worry over people's attitude to refuse disposal, especially in Water Channel, despite measures put in place by his government. He advised people staying close to waterways to relocate for safety of their lives. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
To religious matters, Muslims have been reminded of the need to make tolerance and peaceful coexistence their watchword. The message was at this year's Hijrah 1441 celebration organized by Oyo State National Council for Muslim Youths in Ibadan. The reports.
Hijrah 1441, which marks the beginning of a new year for Muslim Ummah, is also the day Prophet Muhammad migrated from Makkah to Medina, preaching on the tolerance of Prophet Muhammad. Speakers at the Hijrah celebration in Oyo State noted that humility and love for peace made the Holy Prophet to leave Makkah at that time.
The arrival of the Muslims in Medina was actually an opportunity for Islam to spread all over the world.
Whatever you do, and you don't want people to know that it comes from you, then you move away from it.
They urge Muslims, as a matter of necessity, to always pray for the progress of the country. Oyo State government pledged to always carry along all religious organizations in the state.
They should stop listening to people using religions to cause disharmony.
This year's Hijrah celebration was marked by giving awards to prominent Muslims in the state. In Ibadan, Lani Bilayi, NTA News.
And away from religion, 6 bodies recovered after a tour group was swept away by flash flood in a Kenyan National Park. Over now to Joyce Ometu for details of this and more trade news from other parts of the globe.
An information campaign urging the public to get ready for Brexit has been launched by the UK government. The campaign began on Sunday with the launch of a website. Michael Gove, who is in charge of the No Deal plan, said the adverts encourage shared responsibility for preparing to leave the EU on 31st October. In another development, authorities in Kenya say they have recovered the bodies of 6 out of the 7 members of a tour group who were killed in the flash flood at the Hell's Gate National Park. Reports say 5 Kenyans, a foreigner, and their local tour guide were swept away in the flash flood while visiting the park on Sunday. The deep gorges of the Hell's Gate Park are often lashed by heavy rains. Meanwhile, the park has been closed. In other news, Greek authorities have begun transporting about 1,500 asylum seekers from the eastern Aegean island of Lesbos to the mainland as part of the government efforts to tackle overcrowding in refugee camps and a recent spike in the number of people arriving from the nearby Turkish coast. A ship carrying 635 people set sail from Lesbos Monday morning for the northern port city of Thessaloniki. Joyce Ometu, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Joy. And the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, has condoled the family of the late veteran broadcaster Alhaji Bashir Ismail Ahmed, who died after a protracted illness. Abdullah Muhammad reports that the director, NTA Kaduna Network Center, Malam Mukhtar Muhammad Abdullahi, delivered the Director General's message.
Condolence message, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad described the late ace broadcaster as a man of impeccable record who left an enduring legacy in the broadcast industry. The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority recalled with nostalgia the good old days of late Bashir Ismail Ahmed and the defunct Northern Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation. He said the deceased was able to have a niche for himself within the shortest time in the media cycle. Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad prayed Almighty Allah to grant the deceased Jannat Firdausi and his permanent resting place and the entire Sama'il Ahmed family the fortitude to bear the loss.
It's everybody, to all of us. So we pray, may Allah grant him Jannat Firdaus and may his soul rest in perfect peace.
Broadcasting icon that I don't think will be replaced in a very long time to come.
Mahim Ismail Ahmed thanked the Director General of the Nigeria Television Authority for the condolence and prayed for long-lasting relationship. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
May the soul of the late veteran broadcaster rest in peace. Amen. Sports Update is next with Olumide Eguntola.
Attributed Nigeria's to Tigers' 81 to 94 point loss to the Argentines to wrong technical and tactical approach adopted by the technical crew during game actions that created chances for the Argentines to make offensive rebounds.
Well, this is the best I've ever seen them play. Honestly, but we need more work.
They really prepared well. I don't really know what happened. They should keep fighting, keep going. They shouldn't lose hope.
In continuation of his desire to discover and nurture future basketball stars, Stardom, ex-international Olumide Oyedeji is adding values to the lives of children in Lagos through his annual basketball camp.
Try to develop them mentally, socially, intellectually, psychologically, in all aspects of life. You go beyond basketball, try to make them know that there's always life after sport.
In tennis, over 40 tennis players converge on the National Stadium Lagos to participate at the just concluded Milan Tennis Club First Captain Tennis Championship. At the end of the championship, Ebube Agbasi and Ike Onwura defeated Tony Oshoke and Chike Ibe 2-1 to emerge champions.
I want to win this tournament and I say let's go for it. I went for it. Here we are today.
I'm once the former Nigeria #1 and I have that initiative that I want to give back, and which way we give back is through sport.
In another development, Bonju Baba of Togo retained his super light title belt at the 4th edition of Warrior Sport Championship held in Lagos. He was declared the winner when the challenger, Iswe Franklin, sustained an eye injury.
Je suis champion du WSC. He said that the WFC title is a very important to him.
It's a good step for Warrior Sports Championship, and we believe the next edition will be better than this.
The current national kickboxing champion, Ibukun Okpaje, defeated Tajuddin Lawal via technical knockout, while a civilian, Eniola Busari, defeated Bamilani Akintayo of the Nigerian Army, among other prominent fights of the night. Sports Update, Ulide Gudala, NTA News.
And Sports Update ends the news at this hour on NTA International. Thank you so much for watching.
Clay pots since time memorial have continued to exist as a symbol of man's ability to acquire status for himself. Since before the inception of refrigerator, man has used his God-given talent and wisdom to create a cooling aid, reservoir, as well as cooking gadget for his daily needs. In those good old days, there was no traditional African home that existed without this significant figure. At present time, clay pot seems to have vanished from African traditional homes with the invention of modern facilities like the refrigerator and aluminium pots. However, clay pots still play a significant role in today's African homes in a relatively different dimension. Today, clay pots are designed, shaped in several ways to beautify the homes, offices, conference hall, and flowers sit beautifully in them. Africans must learn to use clay pots, appreciate these traditions in order to sell our culture. Despite clay pot being considered as old-fashioned, some cuisines still cook and serve their traditional delicacies in them. It also serves as a lucrative business to many. Clay pot has indeed played a vital role in the lives of Africans. And just like the Chinese chopstick, clay pot, found and molded from a humble beginning of clay soil, metamorphosing into different ranges of beautiful ceramic decors, a homemaker for home utensils for traditional dish, and reservoir and a source of income to many Africans. It is hoped that clay pot will in future generations take its rightful place and cherished as Africans' great symbol and cultural heritage.
Welcome to the Local Content Weekly program, showcasing activities of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board (NCDMB) and stakeholders in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria.
Welcome to this week's program. I am Don Pedro Okoje, your host. Last week on this program, we brought you the third quarter media engagement with the Executive Secretary. We also brought you the best engineering student who won an award from the NCDMB.
This is an invitation to all stakeholders and service companies in the Nigerian oil and gas industry to advertise your capacities and capabilities. Use this program to showcase your Nigerian content achievements. For all inquiries, please call 0905-511-1133 or 0802-223-3376 or send us an email at localcontentmedia@gmail.com.
After more than 5 decades of the oil exploration in Nigeria comes a board that is bringing together industry majors, investors, the states in the oil and gas corridor of Nigeria and cementing access to oil fields for higher productivity, to build capacities in Nigeria, to support increased investment in the industry, to build local capacity and competencies, to create linkages to all sectors of the national economy, to boost industry contributions to the growth of our national gross domestic product, increasing Nigerian content in the oil and gas industry. Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, building local capacities in the oil and gas industry. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, have put fundamentals in place for the attainment of the Nigerian Content 10-year roadmap, which will enable the nation to start reaping the full benefits of its oil and gas resources with clear linkage to other sectors of the economy.
Secretary NCDMB, Engineer Simbi Kasira Bolte, stated this recently in Abuja at the Q3 media engagement organized to inform stakeholders about its activities and achievements. Listing the board's accomplishments under his 2.5-year tenure, Bolte stated that the 2 pilot locations of Dukbani in Cross River and MEL1 in Ogbe local government area of Bayelsa State will create employment for 2,000 persons when they are fully operational and will spur manufacturing of critical oil and gas equipment.
We have moved the